So my name's Randy Surratt. I own Cornerstone Inspection Services. I've been doing this a few minutes. I started working for my dad when I was 21. I turned 60.
Is your dad Scott?
Hmm?
Is your dad Scott?
No, that's my
I know him. Yeah.
brother. I'm sorry. He's also a home inspector.
Yes.
Back in the day when I started, my brother Scott was already working for my dad, and my other brother Steve came to work for us. So at one point there was the four of us, dad and three boys. And, we all got along great. My dad was the chief and we were the Indians. And then dad decided to go do something else, and we decided to buy a company from him, and we all became chiefs and there were no Indians. I didn't get along after a couple of years, so we split up. We all had our own separate inspection companies here in town. My oldest brother Steve is now doing foundation repair and remodels and flipping and that kind of stuff. He's got out of the home inspection game about 2 years ago. Scott's still doing it. He's lives in Fishers. The report software that we use is my brother Scott's that he designed over time. So we get along really well now as competitors. It works really well. So if you get out there and you see Scott's right, he does not work for me. His report looks a lot like mine. It just has a different company name at the top. So yeah, so I'm an editor too. I have a construction management degree from Purdue and architectural technology degree from Purdue. Three wonderful boys. Can't believe it. No, it's 32 this year. I know, right? I don't feel that. So 32, 30, and 23. And fortunately for me, some of them moved in some really cool places. So like one of them lives in Durango, Colorado, and he works on oh no, where is it?
He works on
Crap, I was going to show you a cool picture.
There, it's something happened. Desktop.
Yep, he works on that. They have 5 of those there. Yeah. The Durango Silverton Scenic Railroad, and he's a mechanic on 100-year-old steam engines. It's a cool story because he, in middle school, at Carmel Middle School, we were talking one day about the future growing up and everything, and I'm like, so what are you going to do when you get older? What do you think? He's like, I'm going to live in Southwest Colorado. Life is in Southwest Colorado. There's a steam engine. Here we are, 20 years later or whatever, and he's seeked it out and got a job. He's been there for going on 3 years, and he's never coming back. He quit Butler. He was a sophomore at Butler, and he quit doing that. Moved out there. So yeah, I get to go do that, and my other son works for me as my office manager. He actually lives in Portland, Oregon.
Is this like a real function in this picture?
Oh yeah, I took that picture and a photo of him. So the guy who owns the railroad, that's his car. And so he brought it out for us. And then I had that there. And yeah, got another really cool picture. It's all black and white. There's a dude standing here with an oil can and all the steam all around him. It's really, really good. But anyways, I can talk steam engines for long. I do actually. I would love to live out there. I was just out there last week. And then Nicholas is an office manager. He was in Portland, Oregon. He's also really close to us. So the cool thing is we can go visit our kids in cool places to do fun stuff. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the wonderful world of inspections. So, are you all brand new agents, or you were talking about already having to deal with inspection?
He's done quite a few.
Who has?
He did my house too.
Did he?
So,
All right.
Yeah.
So you understand a little bit about the process. So what I'm going to go through today is just try to show you what to expect from a home inspector and what not to expect. Next slide. We all are licensed. It's happened. See, forever ago, it was 2005 when home inspectors finally became licensed. So we have to do CEs every year for our license. Just done through a couple of inspections these days are running between $500 and $600 on average, not 3 to 4. Let me change this. You can still find inspectors that'll do inspections for like 350 number on an average size house. They're probably not going to be the mainstay people that do it all the time. But people should be expecting to pay somewhere between $500 and $600 for a typical inspection. We do have contracts between us and our buyers, which is separate from your contracts. We do have extra fees also for the termite radon, septic, sewer cameras, that kind of stuff. Those are all extra fees. So right now, Cornerstone's average fee for everything that we do is running about $650. It's going to be dependent on the price of the size of the home. Obviously, the bigger square footage the home is, the more time it's going to take, and so that's what we sell. This is an excerpt from what our home inspection actually is from our license law. I'm not going to read all that to you. It's literally the definition of a home inspection in our license law. But basically, it is a visual inspection of the property as it's at that day, including those components of the heating, cooling, electrical, plumbing, structure, foundations, roof, exterior, interior. And sometimes we'll have to comment on things that are not attached, like an oversized. I don't want to say mini bar because we don't look at mini bars, but like we might call it the she shed, where it's got power, it's got stuff in it, and it's bigger than a mini bar. We would look at that. And there might be other structures or things on there that can affect the dwelling. Other things too, like we don't talk about trees. So if there's a tree in the backyard that's dead, we're not going to put it in our inspection report. But if that tree is really close to the house and there's a dead branch hanging over the roof, we're probably going to talk about the dead branch, and it could negatively impact the roof if it falls off. The biggest thing on this slide is to keep in mind that we are not code enforcement. So we're not a code compliance inspection. We don't cite codes. Matter of fact, when you get a home inspection report, you should never see the word code in there, because we are not code people. When a home is being built, or when the builder's getting everything done and ready for the new occupant, they request a certificate of occupancy from the building department who is in charge of it, the code people. So when the code people come out and they issue that certificate of occupancy, saying that the house is fit for all of us to live there, technically there are no more code violations that don't exist anymore, because what that certificate of occupancy says is that the home was built properly with no code violations. So, and the only people who are, I wouldn't say permitted, but should be citing codes are the ones that are enforcing it. We don't enforce codes. So that's why we shouldn't talk about codes. We don't need to talk about codes because code was developed for all of us to be safe in our homes, right? So if something doesn't meet code, it's a safety hazard. So a lot of times when you read reports and you see something as an unsafe or a safety hazard, it's probably against code. You could make that correlation even if we're not saying it's code violation. You could say that. So why do we need home inspections? A lot of times we don't know what we're going to inspect. So sometimes it's some really cool places like this, which is the Biltmore Mansion in Asheville, North Carolina. It's like 175,000 square feet that was built in 1898 to 1904, which is crazy to think about. They built that big of a house in just 4 years. And all the limestone, I found out, all the limestone on the whole exterior of the place was quarried in Bloomington and then railed. They had a railroad tracks that went just beyond where that fountain is. So everything got railed, all the supplies everything got railed there, and then they milled it and hand weeded and everything put it in place. So it's a very cool place you can get to. First residential dwelling in the United States that had electricity. Some guy named Thomas Edison came down and wired this house for electricity. Asheville, North Carolina. It's a very cool place too. So it's got two basements in it. One basement's got a bowling alley, and the sub basement has a pool, a heated pool with lights in it. Which none of I know about electricity, and what they didn't know about electricity back there makes me wonder how they jumped in this pool. But they did. So it's a really, really cool place. So sometimes we get cool stuff like that, and other times we get not so cool stuff like that. Exactly. So that is a 100-year-old farmhouse that got turned upside down by a tornado. And it's a real picture. It's not AI. I swear to you, my dad gave me this when bought my dad out, my dad started an HMI relocation inspection network. So he would offer inspections to the relocation industry. So if you were being transferred, the relocation company doesn't want to buy your problems, so they would hire my dad, who in turn would find people in different cities all across the country and then hire us to do the inspection. So this was in Wisconsin. And the guy was there 2 days before doing a home inspection in that area. And we had to go back on Saturday to pick up the radon test. And we took that picture and sent it to my dad. So the story was nobody got hurt, nobody was home. But to me, the amazing thing is that house is still intact. It feels like you could turn it right back side up and live in it again. None of our homes today, any modern home today, would never survive like that. It would be in a big pile of sticks. So pretty cool stuff. How we used to overbuild stuff in that. So why do we need inspections? We have buyers out there that lack construction knowledge. We have professional people that don't know things. We have some less than honest sellers still that don't fill out the seller's disclosure 100% right, or they just don't know, which is why the sellers just don't know about the house. You guys all own a home? Does anybody here have a crawl space? Or with the house? You haven't been down there? Most people don't get in their crawl spaces, they don't get in their attics, and they don't get up on their roofs. So the seller's disclosure, you ask them questions to fill out about that, and you don't know. So a lot of times, as home inspectors, we don't even look at the seller's disclosure because we don't think that it accurately reflects any condition of the home unless someone is really brutally honest with it, which a lot of times they aren't. So new construction, it's amazing how much we find wrong during the pre-drywall inspection. So when we do our pre-drywall inspection, that would be all the rough ends, all your electric, plumbing, and heating, when the rough ends are done. We find that most of the time the framers do a really good job of framing. And the tradespeople come in and start putting their stuff in there, and if something's in the way, they just cut it out. Or they'll cut a hole through the floor to put a toilet in, and there's a floor joist there. They just literally cut right through the floor joist and leave it because they're not carpenters. So what we find is that pre-drywall inspection is where we find mistakes that we make that need to be corrected. So new construction inspections. In the States, somebody passed away and whoever's selling the house never lived there, they'll know anything about it, that kind of stuff. How do you pick a qualified home inspector for you guys? Except we have a relationship with my brother, I understand. But the rest of you guys need to come. What's that?
I could be convinced.
All right. We brought you key and a notepad. So there's a couple of entities out there that got set up a long time ago to set the standards of practice and code methods for what we do. The longest surviving one is AFI, the American Society of Home Inspectors. The biggest one is called INTERNACHI, which is the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. We belong to both. So the good thing there is to join them, you have to prove that you've passed a certain level of knowledge, and then you have to do CEs to maintain your membership with them. So if you are part of these things, you have to go through the year. Years of inspecting experience, the guy just got in this last week. That may not be the guy that you want to use, but like I said, I've been for 39 years. Scott is about 5 years ahead of me, so definitely probably close to 45 years. So, referrals from other agents in your office is going to be the best. I mean, I was walking the big wall over there with all the pictures of all the agents. And, hey, you work for them and that. So they work with their inspectors for particular reasons. You need to do. I mean, I would hope that I've got 6 guys that work for me doing the inspections. And we have somebody that you would enjoy being around and enjoy us, taking your clients to your house and teaching them about it. So you need to find something you're comfortable with and develop that relationship so that most of the time we go through our inspections, you get the report and you just kind of move through it and everything's fine. But occasionally you run into that problem child where you need some assistance. And it's always good when they talk about having your team of people that help you get through. But having an inspector on that team is a really important thing for you guys. So I hope it can be us down the road. So what do we see on inspections? I'm going to go through basically from the roof to the crawl space on typical things that we see on inspections. So here on the upper left, kind of hard to see in the picture, but my angle, the shingle is badly cracked and worn. If a whole roof looked like that, it would probably need to be replaced. And a lot of times what you're going to see from us, even though stuff like that can be obvious, we're going to leave an opening for it to be repaired or replaced. So we're, if the whole roof is like this and our reporting would show it as a major concern, and then we're written further evaluation by a qualified contractor. Items where it's a major concern should be thoughtfully considered prior to closing. That's kind of how our definition works. So I don't want to strangle with you guys. You may have found a house for your clients and worked a magical number for them to buy, way below list price, which isn't really happy much these days. But you may have been able to do that. I don't know that part of your deal. I don't want to know that part of your deal. I just want to give you the information. But if you get a deal under contract and it's a really sweet deal, they should expect some things that they're going to have to take care of themselves, right? So we never want to step into the realm of, no, you have to do that. We're just going to give information of this is the condition of the home, and then you have to kind of plug that into the rest of the matrix of everything else you're doing with how much you pay for it, to figure out what you want to ask for. And of course, they're going to come back to you and ask you what you should ask for. But anyways, you'll see a lot of inspection reports that are a little bit ambiguous, even though it's like broken windows and stuff like that. It still gives the ability to not fix it, I guess. I don't know how to put that. But yeah, so badly worn shingles. There are roofs out there that inspectors can't walk. The upper right, that's a slate roof. Slate is very durable, laying flat for a long period of time. Not very durable if you step on it. You can break slate very, very easily just by stepping on it. So it's also extremely slick. So it would be dangerous for us to walk on there. Plus, we could do some serious damage to it. One other thing about walking roofs, our license law does not require home inspectors to physically walk on roofs. So we don't have to walk anywhere. So just because the guy doesn't get on the roof does not mean he's not doing his job. The standard of care, though, in Indiana, which my dad and another guy kind of said, was if it's safe enough to get on, you need to get on and walk that roof. With the advent of drones, all of my inspectors, well, all but one right now, are licensed drone pilots, and they're all their own drones. So if they get to something like this, where it's slate, where the bottom right is asbestos cement, which is not only can't walk, or Spanish tile, the tile roofs, those are all things we can't walk because we'll break them. We will get drones out and drone them. Or like the 3-story townhomes, condos, stuff like that, where the inspectors don't carry 30-foot ladders. We just don't. So you're not going to see a home inspector get on a 32-foot ladder and get up to that. But we do pull out the drones and get our drones up there. So it's becoming more and more. There's several inspection companies now that have started to do that. Drones are pretty inexpensive. And I just bought 2 new ones this week for $560 a piece from DJI. They're really, really good ones. I do also do listing photography. So I have a company that does that as well. And those are different drones. Those are like $3,000 drones to get the quality of the images we need for all the listings and everything. But all of my guys have got there. So one of the most popular things you're going to see on the roof is the bottom left. The cheapest shingle you can buy from any box store is going to have a lifespan of like 18 to 20 years. That little plastic boot right here, this is hard plastic, that's rubber, neoprene. The neoprene will last about 8 to 10 years. So the white pipe sticking up is a plumbing bed. So in your houses, when you run water on, there's a trap underneath your sinks, there's a trap in the toilets, trap underneath your tubs and stuff. On the backside of those traps, you have to allow air to get in so that the water will flow away. Otherwise, it's kind of like taking a straw out of a Coke and you put your finger on the top. If you pull it out, the Coke stays within the straw. Same kind of effect happens if there's no way for air to get on the backside of the traps. It actually will suck the water out of the traps and get sewer gases back into your house. So this pipe here is coming from the backside of all that, goes up through the roof, it's just open to the air, and it just allows air to get in and out. And then we seal it to the roof with this black hard plastic piece with a piece of rubber neoprene. And the rubber only lasts, like I said, 8 to 10 years, and then UV light breaks it down and it starts to crack and split and that kind of stuff. So it's a very, very, very common thing to see. About 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, the only way to fix this was the roofing company would come out and tear the shingles around this vent and then put a whole new hard plastic vent with rubber, was all new, and then we showed around it. Today, you can actually buy just this rubber piece, and slide it down over the top, and it seals it in for another 10 years. It used to be, $700 or $800 repair to do that. I bought a pair for I had two that's in my house. I bought a pair for I think it was $8 a piece. If you don't mind walking a roof, then it's really inexpensive. But I did with neighbors because he's terrified to go on the roof, so we bought them together, and I looked at it. So, but the two repairs are a lot cheaper now. So. We talked about walking roofs. I like to walk roofs because there are things that you can't see. When I first got up here, when I saw this, you can kind of see in that picture that gap. Like over here. So the gap up on the left side over there. That is this. And we found that a raccoon was living in the chimney. And raccoons don't like to poop where they sleep, so they would come out of the chimney and poop on the roof. So, but they had to trap the raccoon and fix the chimney top. All said and done, this was back in 2001. That was about $1,000. Today it would probably be closer to $2,000. So it's kind of an expensive thing to fix. Plus, we don't want water to get into the backside of the chimney like that. Siding is a big deal. We've got all different types of siding types out there. From the one on the left there is a sawdust pressed together with glues and resins with a paper base. It lasts a long time, but it's very high maintenance. It has to be painted every 2 or 3 years, whether it looks like it needs to be painted or not. Most people don't do that often. They wait until it looks like it needs to be painted, and at that point, water's gotten in. And with the sawdust that's in there, basically, when water gets in, it swells apart like a sponge. And then, of course, what they did here is they added a whole bunch of nails along the bottom edge, which added more holes to it. So that siding was not very good shape. The siding on the right is plywood, comes in 4x9 sheets. It's made out of cedar ply. It's very, very durable. I had this on my house until last year. So it lasts a long time. It also requires painting every 3 to 5 years. Painting is not something inspectors are going to call out as a defect. Typically, if you're buying a house that's got wood siding or wood trim on it, most people realize it's a normal maintenance. If it's peeling off of a house and it's an older house, we may call it out as a potential for lead-based paint. It's an issue that we don't want people to have to deal with. So there was a siding material out there called Louisiana Pacific Interseal Lap Siding, or LP siding. It had this knot hole right there. It looks like the eye of a great blue whale. It is a trademark from LP. They created this product from 84 to 96. It's basically cedar chips pressed together with glues and resins with a paper face, and then all pressed and heated together to make it look like cedar. It's not cedar, it's a bunch of pieces of wood. But the glues and resins were not compatible. And anytime the wood board got above 15% moisture content, mold would grow inside the board. What's hard to see is that right there and right there are both where the painting took the mushrooms off. Because that's how we were finding these mushrooms with stuff growing up the bottom edges of this. When LP changed their formula for how to make up the board in 1996, they did not change the look. So when we go look at the house that was built in this time period that's got this siding on it, we have no idea if it's the new stuff or the old stuff, because it looks identical. The only way to know would be to take off the board and look at it. There's numbers and stuff printed on the back that can tell us. But sellers get really upset when we start ripping stuff off their houses, so we can't do that. So it's something that may pop up in a report as an item to monitor because it was involved in a class action lawsuit. That might require you guys to get a little more information from the sellers. But that might come up. Another type of siding product, it's very cool, but it's very expensive to fix. This is a stucco looking house. It's not really stucco, it's synthetic stucco. The trade name is EIFS, or EIFS, which stands for Exterior Insulation and Thinning System. It's essentially styrofoam glued to the outside of the house, and then a thin layer of cement put on with a fiberglass mesh in it, and then another thin layer put over the top of that, and then traditional stucco finish put on that. So it looks like a stucco home. It adds insulating capacity to the wall. The stuff itself is exceptionally durable, lasts a very, very, very long time. But the flashing details that are required are difficult, it seems like, for people to follow and put in. So on that particular house right there, it was on the west side of Carmel when I took that picture. This will date the picture. That house was listed at that time for $285,000. And when I did the inspection, there were ants that came out of just below this upper window. I did some probing, some ants came out. There was a bunch of rotted wood, rotted windows. Long story short, the gentleman that owned the house spent $125,000 fixing all the damage that was caused from this stuff, and then he went to resell the house. So it was initially for $285,000. They had to take it off the market because it took about 4 months for them to tear all the stuff off and fix the house and put it back on. How much do you think you could sell that? The repair didn't add any value to the house, so yeah, he could only sell it for $285,000. So it's something that we see on houses from like newer than 1980. Most inspectors are really in tune with it right now. So the general home inspection is just going to say that there might be some issues with this stuff. We recommend further evaluation by by a qualified use inspector. So I've got one in my company. I think there's one on the south side. There's not very many guys that do this. Most of the guys that do the repair work do not want to come out and even give an estimate unless somebody like me has gone and looked at it to tell them, these are the issues that we find. So if you see it and somebody wants to buy it, you probably have to deal with it in some fashion on the inspection. Like I said, it's super expensive to fix. It's not super easy to take off. Other cool things that we get to see, gutters that are leaking, like the upper left, cause the trim boards to rot out in the corner there, so we needed to take the gutter off, fix the trim, put the gutter back on and seal it. Then as a maintenance thing, we probably would have called out that the spot lights are missing. We couldn't test that fixture because the light bulbs are wrong. The upper right picture, rotted windows are always going to be a major concern because we never know how deep that rot goes. It might just be surface or superficial like this is, or it might be into the little cavity and rot out some of the stuff. We don't know, again, until somebody starts taking stuff off. And again, sellers get really upset.
That's the same house?
These are all different houses.
But it rots because of that issue.
Yeah, so they probably didn't maintain their windows very well. One of my professors I went to IUPUI, one of my professors lived out at Geis, and he was going to buy a house we had re-inspected. We were walking around, and 13 of the 15 windows outside from a distance, they looked great. But when you got pushed on them, they had covered over all the rock with caulk, and then painted it. So it looked great. And of course, you just went like that and just painted it. So it's expensive. So if they don't maintain their windows, paint, seal, keep that kind of stuff done over time. The bottom left picture, there's a $6,000 defect in that picture. Can you see it? You see it?
Does that matter?
Stairs are different.
They're different height.
So if you look, this step and this step and this step are all like a brick and a little bit tall. This step is 2 bricks tall. And then it goes back down to a shorter one. So this was 2002. This is an inspection that I did. I was nearly complete. Back in 2002, we actually completed the inspection of Fort Sims Field, and I had run out of paper. So I got to my truck, grabbed my paper, came back in, and ended up tripping and sprawled all over the front porch paper everywhere. What the hell was that? So I walked back out there, and that's when I caught it. I'd been up and down those steps probably a dozen times during the inspection. It was the last time that I tripped that I caught it. So this house was relatively new. It's actually one of the Andretti houses now that's out on Geis. Big white house. But anyways, it wasn't Andretti who bought it. Anyway, the only fix for it was to tear out the steps and redo it correctly. So I got lucky. And then a couple years back, we had Simpson Strong Tie, which is a company that makes connectors and structural screws and stuff like that. They came to a convention meeting that we had and talked about deck failures and why decks fail and how you're supposed to attach decks to houses and everything. A lot of times when I thought of deck failures, because I've never seen one when they started coming, was I thought that this out here, this post and beam would fail and the deck would fall off this way. Never dawned on me that it was the connection to the house. So decks have very specific ways that the code requires them to be connected to properties, and it's different for different siding materials. Like you can't connect the deck directly to brick. It's got to go through the brick and into a structural element because brick is not a structural element. So you may see a lot of times, and there's a lot of decks out there that are not built very well. That we're going to call out stuff with decks. I'll be honest with you, I've been doing this for how many years? Like 39 years. I've never seen a deck in the field like this falling out of the house. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen insurance pictures of it, and that kind of stuff. A long time ago, my kids and my wife were into horses, and our trainer went to North Carolina and rented a house near the beach, and big family affair. They had about 25 people. They were going to do the big family photo out on the deck. Out there, the deck collapsed, and they all got hurt. Well, most of them got hurt. So, you'll see deck issues come up quite a bit, and you may get some pushback from contractors. But there's, if you have a good home inspector, we can really give you the good information on how decks are supposed to be connected. Other things to look for when you're walking around a house with a client: termite bait stations. A very common way to treat a house for termites. That green disc is about in the ground. It kind of looks like a gutter pop-up. You ever seen those where they run the gutter underneath the ground and then it pops up to a drain that pops up and lets it go out? It looks a lot like that. But these are placed 3 to 4 feet away from the house, depending on the infestation, maybe over 8 to 12 feet around, double way around. So you're not going to see just one. You're probably going to see more than a dozen. So if you see these, you can say, if you're interested in the house, we just need to ask them about the termites. Some people put them in as preventative, which is crazy because it's like $2,000 to throw these things on the ground. Usually, if you see these, that means somebody had an issue with termites, and termites or something like that came in and put in some sort of bait station system. So it would be a good prudent question. The picture on the bottom right is the fill valve or fill line on the abandoned oil tank. Back in the day, we used to heat houses with number 2 fuel oil, and we used to put 500-gallon tanks in the ground right next to the house. Sometimes they're in the basement, sometimes they're in crawl spaces, but a lot of times those have been converted either to electric or gas now. And FHA and VA will not loan on a property that has an exterior abandoned oil tank installed in the ground. So if we see this, we're going to alert you that, hey, there may be an abandoned oil tank you might have to deal with. Conventional could care less if the house appraises for whatever they're trying to buy, then so be it. But FHA and VA are not going to let it fly. Garages, we're going to test the overhead door opener. There are a lot of things in the code that every time a new code gets adopted by the municipality, that everything in the prior code gets grandfathered. So if something drastically changes from one code to another, it doesn't have to be brought up to the new code. So one of the weird differences on that is outlets for overhead garage door openers. Running an extension cord from a wall outlet in an older garage up to the ceiling for the door opener is not allowed. It's never been allowed. So you'll see that we have to call it out. So you'll see that on older garages. We look for in garages, you're supposed to have a GFCI outlet, which is what the bottom left one is. It has a test and reset button. Talk more about those here in a minute. And then we're going to test the operation of the door, make sure the overhead door goes up and goes down, and the condition of it. That right-hand garage there that I'm pointing at, it's done for very, you know, agree that that's done. It's closed, but it's not sealed 100%, right? The garage door in my office, actually, my brother and oldest brother rent space for me for his foundation company. So that door goes up and down. It keeps the rain out. It keeps animals and people out, and it protects his equipment. So is that garage door truly defective? It's kind of performing its intended function. So there's no hard gauge for that. Me personally, that's a damn good door that needs to be fixed. The problem is that you can't buy just that one, because door opener guys, the manufacturers are really smart and they change the design like every 18 months. Everything's different. So you'd have to put a whole new door in there. Now, I think my brother, somebody, it doesn't look like this anymore, but I didn't fix it. I think somebody, my brother came out with a 2x4 on the inside and just kind of beat it back into place because it's hard to find now. But sometimes there are things that are somewhat expensive to fix, even though it's still doing its intended function. I would liken this to hail damage to your car. You have hail dents on your car. There's nothing wrong with your car, right? It drives, gets you here. Does everything it's supposed to do with hail dents. This to me is really similar to that. But you know, anybody ever had to deal with hail dents, repair on a car, and it can be really expensive. So this is an expensive repair to be done. So the point of that is you're going to hear arguments as buyer agents from listing agents that don't want to fix things. Some really creative things of what's really not a defect. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it'll come out a lot. So, heating, cooling systems, we're going to run them through their paces, make sure that they operate. We're going to check the filters to make sure they're clean. The filter in the right, upper right there, that's supposed to be green. That's a cleanable filter. This guy up here, it's supposed to be like green, almost as green as black. It's so dirty from dust that it's now kind of like gray. So it just needs to be clean, taken out clean. And the dirty filter really does impact, especially air conditioning, on how much air gets through the system. So we also make sure our clients know where the filter location is and how to take it out, whether it's cleanable or one of the disposable kind. We're going to run them through basic thermostat operation to make sure they can turn the heat on, turn the cooling on, turn it down, that kind of thing. We're not going to teach them how to program like a Nest thermostat or something like that. That's way above what we do. There are still some older furnaces and water heaters that have metal exhaust flues, which is what's on the bottom right there. We want to make sure that the exhaust gases that are inside that flue stay inside that flue. That one's obviously got some holes and some cracks in it, so we don't want the combustible fumes of gas to get into the air that we're breathing. It's not really healthy for us. So, air conditioning, we're going to run it in the months that we can run it, and we're going to test the temperature coming out of the registers and what's going back in the cold air return. And we want a temperature difference of 14 to 20. Is today's thing. This one says 12, but it's 14 to 20. And if it's below that number is probably worse than above that number. Like this one here was 9.1. There's something really wrong with that air conditioner. I can't tell you what it is because we're not allowed to put gauges on it because you have to be licensed to handle Freon. So, and getting the license to handle Freon is very expensive, so we just don't do it. We just know that there's something not right with that air conditioner. Could be a simple cleaning job, could be all the way to the compressor pad and all the air conditioning. Conversely, if you get too high of a temperature drop, so let's say we're trying to get that 14 to 20, and it's 26 degrees or 28 degrees. That also tells us that something's not right with the furnace. Typically, that's a cleaning issue. The filter's really dirty, the coil inside is really dirty. Something's not allowing the airflow to get through there, and it's really cooling it down too much. So if it's too cold coming out of the registers, that's another problem. But usually not as big of a problem as if it's not cooling at all. Plumbing, obviously plumbing to me is one of the easiest systems in the house for us to look at. Drain lines have to be pitched at an angle so that the water gets away. If it's not staying in the pipe, usually it's pretty easy. Water's not very forgiving on most things. So if it's leaking, we're going to probably see that somewhere. So the upper left picture lists the bottom of an old cast iron tub in the water area. And that tub over the life, 80 years or whatever, started to rust, and now the drain will stay sealed. So on that particular one, was one of the first times that I had been brought up to speed on the bathtub overlays. It used to be you had to go in with a sledgehammer and break out the cast iron tub and then bring a whole new tub in, with the plastic or fiberglass tub, and then refix it. What they did here is they put a plastic or fiberglass overlay right over this tub. That tub stayed there. Just had a new one shoved over it, and then drain married to the new tub, and fix the leak. It's a lot cheaper to do that than it is to try to tear out a tub and then retile the wall and everything. So it made repairing these kind of things really easy. The upper right picture is crawl space, and that's the main drain line there. The white stuff essence of where water used to be, and then it evaporated off. The green dot on the bottom is what the septic tracing dye looks like that we use when we flush septic tracing dye down the toilet when we're doing septic evaluations. So what this tells me, I did not take this picture with my inspector, and what this tells me is my inspector's probably in the crawl space where the sewage water is leaking into the crawl space. It also tells me wherever this house is on the septic system, because we don't normally put the green dye down the system unless we do a septic evaluation. Water heaters are doing the same thing, just make sure that everything's running. We want to make sure that the exhaust fluid is actually getting the exhaust out. So like this one here, the exhaust is falling off. So every time that water heater ran, all the exhaust fumes are going into the house, which is not safe. Electricity, with plumbing being some of the easiest things to look at in a house, electricity is probably the hardest to understand and look at. There's a lot of very similar words in the electrical world that mean different things. Like you have a grounding electrode, you have a ground, you have a grounded conductor. Those are all three different components of the electric system, and they do very different jobs. But they sound similar. So just trying to understand everything in the electrical world is very challenging for most inspectors to grasp over time. We're going to take the main panel box cover off, and we will look at the wiring inside to make sure it's not melted, scorched, or whatever, that they use the right size wires on the right size breakers. This one up here is going to be very common thing to see. It's a double tap breaker. If two wires connected to the same breaker, which you're not supposed to do. What you'll see most of the time in the pictures in our reports is you have two really pretty perfect wires attached. You're not going to see them like those two there are both melted. You can see that this is supposed to be white. It's kind of a beige color now. And upper one there is, you can definitely see the black on it is melted. That's an unsafe condition. It's a very easy fix. They just need to pull the wires back off, connect it to a third wire with a wire net, and run that single third wire back into the breaker. For whatever reason, manufacturers of these breakers made it so that the breakers themselves are only allowed to handle one wire underneath that screw that you can see there. But the circuit itself can handle one wire. So it's a really simple fix, but one that we recommend electricians use.
So is double tapping something that somebody goes in there and does in order to get more power?
They add an outlet in the garage, or they add in something. We see a lot of times in a lot of DIYers, do-it-yourself.
Yeah.
They don't understand what they're doing. We'll just stick this in here, and it'll work. It'll work for a while.
Fire.
And then
So when you say run a wire into it, would you connect those two wires and then
you
like
pull
one?
you pull those two off, connect the third wire under wire nut, and then take that single third wire back in the breaker.
So it's not that it's drawing too much power by having two things connected. You only have one thing actually
Correct. What actually happens is the screw heads that are there give equal distribution of pressure to both wires. A lot of times people, when they do stupid things, like they put a 15 and a 20 amp wire underneath the same screw. And the 15 amp wire is thinner than the 20 amp wire. And then the screw is trying to put pressure on both wires at a weird angle, and it can't do it. So you get a little not 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 tight, and therefore heat built up. And in this particular case, what they'd have to do, they'd have to cut the wire back to where it's good, and then add the third wire underneath the wire nut and take it back into the breaker. The other thing about wire nuts is we don't want to see them. Wire nuts should all be contained in junction boxes, so like the bottom two pictures that are up there. Somebody added something at some point in time. Both those are old wires, so those are probably done in the 50s. And they just connected new wires to them, put the wire nuts up there. It'll work just fine if nobody ever touches it at all. But people do stupid things all the time and pull on stuff. And if one of those wire nuts comes off or falls off, especially on the black side, and you touch it, then you're going to get shocked. So anytime we see wire nuts, that just lets us know that's proper wire splice. It should be in a junction box. We talked a little bit earlier about ground fault circuit interrupters. pipes that we see up there. It's kind of an interesting thing for me because, like the one on the right, is tan. It's got a light on it, right? Um, sometimes, like that one, I can tell that it's tripped. It's off. So something we put our outlet tester in, or if somebody pushed the button and tripped it off, the light came on. That is supposed to let you know that there's no power going to that outlet or a trip. But there's other ones that look just like this, that the light is on when there's power going through the circuit. So there's no continuity between some of these manufacturers. So you just have to look at it. Then the other one is an older one, it's got a black and red button. But that's our tester that we use, and it's got that black button with circle on it that induces the short into the circuit. And if it's working, it turns off. These are required to be in new construction today. These are required to be in all kitchen countertop outlets, bathrooms, unfinished basements, garages, and exteriors. So the problem that happens is when you take like my house, which was built in 1977, up until February, March of 24, they had the original outlets in it. And after my house was built, the kitchen was not a requirement to have GFIs in it. And for whatever reason, you know, almost 2 years now, we had never changed out the outlets. My wife didn't mind the tan outlets, and my kids were smart enough. We just never had any problems with it. So, but in 2024, my son got married and decided to have his reception in our backyard, which I highly do not recommend anybody ever do that. It's so stressful. It turned out to be very cool, but the week leading up to it was just we changed out the outlets. She wanted, at that point, we painted, put some painting and that kind of stuff. And she wanted the white outlets to be white instead of tan. So when I took the whole tan outlets out and I put white outlets back in, now, you know, it says that you don't have to bring the house up to code because everything's grandfathered, right? Except if you do something. So if you change out anything in your house today, you have to bring it, whatever it is, to whatever code is today, not when the house was built. So when I put in these new outlets, they had to be GFI protected. So I had to make sure that all the outlets were, especially being a home inspector, I had to definitely make sure that they were all protected. But you'll see older homes that never had GFIs in them. The inspectors will call it as a defect. It's not necessarily a defect because maybe that was at the time. Like if I had sold my house before 2024 and had never changed out those outlets, there's nothing wrong with the outlets that were in my house because they weren't required to be different. Now, what we do is we have a category for recommended improvements. So we would have put it down, the old outlets, we would have put them down as recommended safety improvement for the home. And it's not a defect, it's just letting you and the buyers know that hey, this is something that probably should get done sooner or later. After 2024, if I had just put white outlets in, we would have called it out as a safety hazard.
So, like, kind of like the example you gave of redoing the kitchen. So, say your house is older and doesn't have any bathrooms, you have to go change those ones as well because you did the kitchen?
No, only if you
Just
change
the
out the bathrooms.
Okay.
Because I had to do that a couple of years prior to that. So we upgraded our bathrooms. I ripped out a bathroom and completely rebuilt it. And then that prompted new outlets and lights and the master. And so yeah, we went ahead and redid it.
So, what exactly does that outlet do?
So the outlet itself is designed to make sure that you don't get shot. So if you're working around electricity and any kind of moisture or water, and you come in contact with both, this senses basically leakage of electricity. So if you touch electricity on one of these circuits, you become the leak. And we're talking about a very small change in electric current. So if all of a sudden it just jumps over here, it sees that and shuts off the outlet. You won't even feel it. It's just like that, it just shuts off. So it's protecting you against getting shocked. You think about those outlets that I mentioned: kitchen, bathroom, unfinished basements, garages, and exterior. Those are all outlets that have a high chance of you working around electricity and moisture. So that's why they do it there. Kitchens, we don't check non-built-in appliances. built-in appliances we're going to run. So the dishwasher, garbage disposal, built-in microwaves. Stoves is kind of a funny thing because there aren't really any, I mean, there are some built-in stoves, but most ranges are standalone. They slip into between the cabinets, right? They're not built-in. They slip in, but we test those too. The one there on the bottom left, the dishwasher, did not pump, so it got halfway through the cycle. I think this one actually leaked. What we find is the base of the dishwasher will hold the initial wash cycle and then the first rinse cycle. When it does the second wash cycle, it can't hold that water and it pours out the front. So it's always exciting when we have an inspection and now we have water pouring out from the dishwasher and we have to find a way to clean it up. But we'll call that a problem. I told you earlier we don't like wire nuts, so the bottom right picture there, there's a lot going on with that. They used
Water and
they used duct tape on part of it, so this is great duct tape. Some electrical tape. This one doesn't have any tape on it at all. Yeah, it's just, and you think about like, we're doing dishes and that kind of stuff. And we keep a bunch of stuff underneath our sink with garbage disposal. There's just a good chance of knocking one of those off accidentally and getting shocked.
Mhm.
Especially on the black side.
And your
Black
hands
one.
are wet, right? Like if you're washing dishes or whatever, or rinsing them and put them in the dishwasher. I stick my hands under mine all the time. I would be dead.
We're not feeling very good right now.
Something would be wrong.
So what are they supposed to be?
So the white wire, this white wire here, there should be a junction box on the back wall. All those wires contained in that, and then out of that junction box, a conduit, or it's a pipe that holds the wire, that would come over and go into. This is missing a piece. There's a plate missing there that where the wire is supposed to come out and connect it all. Basically, to keep you from reaching down there with wet hands and not and accidentally grabbing the wire, just protect you. But yeah, that's really unsafe.
How easy is it to just fix the bottom of that instead of putting duct tape on it?
Well, I don't know why they put the duct tape there. Maybe it was just to hold it together.
So that's your conduit. There.
We had a junction
just
box
brought
added for one
Yeah,
of ours.
I'm
It's
thinking
like
that had
3 to 4
water.
months old.
Yeah,
That's really
no,
wet.
that's your electrical that goes through that.
We see it all the time, especially in flip homes. We see all kinds of crazy stuff in flip homes. Bathrooms, we're going to run the sinks, make sure that they drain. We're going to test the plunger and the stopper. We're going to make sure there's no leaks at the bottom of the drain. We fill jacuzzi tubs and turn them on and take a picture. Years ago, I think I got 6 phone calls from people saying you didn't test my jacuzzi. Yeah, we did. We filled it up and turned it on. I don't believe it because we went to use it for the first time 6 months after we moved in and it didn't work. Well, it worked when we were there. So I got tired of trying to prove that we went there, and it's just making people, right? We went there to do a job. We did our job. And then when people, something doesn't work, we must have done our job. So now we take a lot of reference photos in our inspection reports. Getting up on roofs, getting in crawl spaces, getting in the attic space. We turn on all the burners on the stove. There'll be a picture of all the burners turned on, whether it's gas or electric. If they're electric, they're glowing red hot to prove to people that we actually turn things on. We open the refrigerator and we have the infrared thermometers. We shoot the inside of the refrigerator and we take a picture of that so we can show this. The refrigerator was 36 degrees and the freezer was 2 or whatever. This is another one of those reference photos that we take. We fill it up, turn it on, it ran for us. So 6 months from now, when it didn't run for you, I can't tell you why it didn't run. But here's the picture. So you'll see a lot, and a lot of home inspectors are doing this now. So you'll see it not just in our reports, but like I know Scott does it because him and I've talked about it many times. So yeah, you'll see that. Toilets, we're gonna put some toilet paper in them, flush it, make sure the toilet paper goes down. We also put our leg next to it and push on it to make sure that it's secure to the floor, so it doesn't rock or twist. And then tubs, we're gonna make sure they drain. There's a lot going on with that bottom right tub. The actual tile wall is not secure. Somebody put a bunch of grout on it the day before we got there. And when you push on the tile wall, the whole thing just, I'm surprised it didn't fall in. It's got like 2 inches of caulk between the tile and the tub, and then it's not draining. You can see it's this whole there's a lot going on there. Windows from the inside. I will tell you that we don't do this anymore. That's a scratch owl that I threw through a rotted piece of wood in the window. Sellers get really upset when you do stuff to their houses. So even if you point out that you got rotten wood, I mean, I should not be able to push anything straight through wood like that unless I hammer it. And I literally just stuck that in there. I stopped doing that with the keys. And I'm like, well, if you see a picture of my keys through wood, I mean, it's rotted. I didn't do that. It was still got a lot of pushback on that. So now we just try to make sure that we show in the right light that it's rotted without showing damage or maybe stuck something through it. So, but we're going to check the inside of windows as well. The bottom right picture is one that you get a lot of interesting comments about. So that's a window that's a casement window, so it's a crank out, so it spins out like this. It opened and closed just fine. It locked everything. Function of a window is to let light in, let us see out, and let us get out in the case of a fire. So it's obviously doing the first two, right? It's letting light in and letting us see out. Because you can see out in that yard, there's fence, there's trees, there's firewood, there's more trees in the back there. So we can definitely see out. And what's happened, I'm not clear here, that there's a fogginess between the panes of glass, so it's a failed insulated seal. You guys understand how insulated windows work? So a failed insulated seal on itself is not a major defect. So because it's like $175 to $225 to fix on a house that's not considered something you wouldn't buy a house for. But if let's say there's 10 of them that are failed in the house, well, now you're sort of talking about $1,200 to fix. So because we're an issue, but you will hear back from listing agents that is a cosmetic defect or not a defect. They will tell you that once moisture gets in between two panes of glass, that window is not performing its intended function. And the intended function is these two panes of glass married to a frame, and they suck all the air out between them and create dead space because dead space like space does not hold heat. So it doesn't transfer heat very well and doesn't hold heat. So it creates an insulating barrier between the inside and the outside of the house, makes your windows more efficient, keeps more of the heat in the wintertime, keeps more of the heat out in the summertime. So when you get this moisture in between there, that stops. That insulating capacity is going away. It stops working. So there's an argument that it's just not performing its intended function, and there's going to be an argument that it's just cosmetic. It happens. You guys will deal with that. So keep that in mind. Attic spaces, look for signs of rodents. For two pictures there, squirrels had gotten in and brought in a whole bunch of pine cones. One class I was doing, wow, there's a lot of crap up there. Man, if that's feces from an animal, that's a big rodent. Yeah. So, but yeah, they had run all over the attic and squashed all the insulation down. So the way insulation works is you got thickness, right? So 10 inches of insulation is kind of minimum these days. That gives you your value of 30. When you take that insulation and you smash it down to an inch or two, it really has no insulating capacity whatsoever. So this house has lost all of its insulating capacity. First, they had to trap the squirrels. Then they had to find where the squirrels were getting in at and seal those openings off. And then they had to re-insulate the attic. So in today's money, this is probably $3,000 to $5,000 defect. If it happened to be raccoons carry a bunch of different diseases, and same scenario, but instead of just insulating, they have to suck all the insulation out of the attic and then sanitize the attic and then re-insulate the attic. That adds another couple of grand to it. Other kind of rodents that we don't specifically call them out because rodents are not something we typically look for. They're in every house everywhere. But bats. If we find bats in an attic, extremely expensive to take care of. Bats are protected, so you can't kill them. And to bat-proof a house, you have to put material up that allows them to, anyone that are still in the attic, to get out, but it prevents them from getting back in. So it's kind of like, the sea turtles went through this, where they were trying to protect sea turtles, and when they were dredging for shrimp. When the shrimp boats bring those big nets along the bottom of the ocean, and they're trying to collect all the shrimp, well, they would collect whatever's in the way. Sea turtles would be in the way. So they had to come up with these netting things that would allow the sea turtles to pass through to keep the shrimp. It's actually kind of ingenious thing that they come up with. But for bats, it's a heavy netting material, almost metal, that they put up wherever they're getting in, and it'll open and allow them to get out. But when it closes, the bats can't get back in. And that takes a minute. Sometimes if you have, a dozen bats in an attic, it takes a minute for all of them to get out. Same thing, then you gotta suck all the insulation out, sanitize the attic, and then put everything back in. I mean, we're talking, let's say a 2,200 square foot, two-story house, bat proofing, dealing with the bats, dealing with the insulation, $25,000-$30,000. Very, very expensive.
And
So what we do, because we don't specifically call out bats, our reports call out animal activity. Mice the same thing. Mice do not hurt houses. They're gross. I don't want them in my house, but unfortunately they're everywhere and we can't keep them out. Even new construction houses we've gone to that are 4 months old, we find mice traps in the attic because they can get in the smallest little openings. But if we see them, we're going to say there's animal activity in the attic, and that gives you guys and the clients the ability to get an exterminator out there to figure out what needs to be done. Dealing with mice can also get expensive, but not nearly as expensive as bats. So, there's another thing for barn swallows. Those are also protected. We find them in chimneys a lot, and you cannot do anything to them. So that can be very expensive to deal with that as well. Trying to get a barn swallow out of a chimney. What's that?
do they hurt the chimney by living in it?
The barn swallow?
Is it just kind of something you want to?
They just make you not be able to use it. So if you have a fireplace and you have barn swallows in your fireplace chimney, you can't use the fireplace because you'll kill the barn swallow. Now, who's going to turn you in?
How do you know they're there?
Well, we did the inspection. But yeah,
But
I mean,
if they moved in after,
Exactly.
you have no idea.
the same with the bats. I mean, you're not supposed to kill bats. Who's going to turn you in? And call the bat police? I mean, but yeah, it can be really expensive to deal with them. And the bat one is amazing. Mice poop everywhere. Bats poop in the same spot. There could be a dozen bats in the attic all over the place. They poop in the same spot. So you end up with a big pile of bat guano. It's really easy to usually tell between bats and mice because so what's that?
You'll still have mice, even if you have a cat.
We've got cats and then never had a problem.
You didn't see them, but they're probably in the attic in your walls.
Smart.
You still have them. I promise.
It's crazy. And snakes too. Every once in a while, we see snakes like in the woods and houses that are in the woods. But snakes are so afraid of us. So, and we don't have hardly any poisonous snakes in Cottonmouth. And rattlesnake is down south in southern Indiana, but not up here. Cottonmouth is here, but cottonmouths like to be around water. So if you're not around the lake, you're probably not going to have cottonmouth. Usually it's a garter snake or green snake or something like that. But they're terrifying. I can tell you
Garden snakes are quick.
the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in a house was a feral cat in crawl space. Because they are angry. You are in their space, and I'm not a small guy. I can't crawl across very fast. That, and I saw a mother raccoon in an attic with 3 babies. I mean, I can scurry across the top of the rafters pretty quickly, and but yeah, that cat in the crawl space, man, it was not happy I was there.
You own this space. Have fun. See you later.
Crawling out really, really fast.
No,
Yeah,
not me.
that's not what I'm there for.
I'm just
I
inspecting and
observe
telling
and
you it's there.
report. That's all I do. I don't fix. I don't exterminate. I saw a snake, a me, and I knew it was a big snake because it like went like this up the wall, and doubled in size, and it started moving along the wall, and it just disappeared in the hole. Crawl spaces, basements. So basements and crawl spaces, the biggest things we're looking for is signs of moisture. The upper left picture. Let's look at this picture here. This piece of wood right there is called a sill plate. It's the first piece of wood that's laid down on top of the foundation. The foundation wall up, they bolt a piece of wood to it, and then they set the floor joist on top of that piece of wood. The upper left picture, that piece of wood's completely gone. It's completely rotted away. So the floor joist is now sitting on top of the foundation, so it's dropped an inch and a half in that area. The whole side of the house was that way. And this one, the picture to the right, you can see the cracked floor joists there. There were 6 of those right in a row, right there. So this is those top 2 pictures are from the same house. I found out later they had a grand piano in that room over the little broken floor joist. The amount of moisture that was down on the crawl space over time caused the floor joist to weaken. Because when you take wood and you get it wet and let it dry out, and get it wet and let it dry out, it weakens the wood over a period of time. So maybe at the beginning it could hold that grand piano, but 30 years later it could not. So it had a whole bunch of cracked floor joists, had a bunch of rotten wood in that crawl space. It was really expensive. The bottom left picture shows a bunch of yellow stuff on the floor joist. So that's another 4-letter word that you should not see by itself in the home inspection report. It begins with an M, called mold. You can't look at mold and say it's mold. Nobody can do that. I've been doing mold inspections for 15 years. I'm pretty confident that that yellow stuff on that floor joist is mold, but I still have to say mold-like substance, potentially mold, appears to be mold, something that gives it something other than, because I am not taking a sample of it and looking at it under a microscope. That's the only way you can say for sure that it is mold. Now, what else could it be? Yeah, I don't know. On that, I'm 99% sure that that's mold, but it could be something else, I guess. So, a lot of times, like what our inspectors will do on something like this is they literally will write with their finger the word mold in it and take a picture. It's a powdery stuff. So, and then in the report it says mold like stuff in the floor joist. The bottom right picture is an interesting scenario. I told you earlier. What is that green? Can you guys tell me what that green is in the bottom right picture?
For the septic.
It's a septic tracing dye. So that's a basement on a house that I was inspecting in Lafayette. It's a farmhouse. It's supposed to be.
It's not supposed to
So
come back
when
in.
I opened up the basement door to go down, it reeked. If you can imagine. We all carry tall boots, so I had the rubber boots that go to my knees, and it was about 10 inches deep down there. But the furnace, the water heater, the electric box, the well pressure tank, which is what this is right here, we're all down there. I'm like, I really need to get down there and take a look. So I went and got my boots and I walked around down there. Before I put the dye down, I mean, I had an inclination of what was going on, but I needed to figure out what was going on. None of the pipes were open down there. So I was like, all right. So what they had done, somebody had added in the first floor bathroom to this 100-year-old farmhouse, brought the pipes down into the basement, out the basement wall, and then never connected it to the septic system. So I dumped this dye down the toilet in that bathroom, and 20 minutes later I had that green cloud inside. So it was running along the outside wall. So that was and the owners tried to say, know what that was. But so yeah, so we look for signs of water and stuff. That's the biggest thing. We want to make sure the piping's in, when we do part of the plumbing system, something's leaking, none is drained properly. Electricity, the electric lines should not be laying on the crawl space floor. They should be tacked up and held in place. Same with the HVAC time we see them in the crawl space water, it's wrong, it's bad. Usually that time we see them, they're either rusted out or they've got animal furniture through them if they're fiberglass. So, we're going to jump a little bit. That's kind of like inspections. That's what you should see from a typical home inspection. Before we move on to the next cool subject, do you guys have any other questions about anything I brought up? Cool. So we're going to talk about sewer cameras, which has become very popular that my industry started to offer. It's not part of a typical home inspection. We're going to pay extra for this, but we've got 4 very expensive sewer cameras that are color and self-leveling. We got 3 guys that do it, so we have an extra time. But anyways, when we put the sewer camera down there, we want to see what we want to see. We don't want to see these because these are boring. These are really good sewer lines. There's nothing wrong with them. They're nice and clear. This one is PVC plastic. That one up there looks like it's clay tile, but in good shape. What we like to see, because we're nerds that way, is stuff that isn't right. So the upper left one is a cast iron pipe that's got a lot of scaling to it and rust. And it's also got, it's a little hard to see, but the bottom has got wood. The bottom right one, which looks like it's 8 feet tall, is actually a 4-inch pipe that's got water running. The camera that I had at the time was very wide angle, so it made it look a lot bigger. Water should never sit in a sewer line. Sewer lines are supposed to be pitched so that if you put water in its gutter should never have water standing in the meter. It's always supposed to be pitched downhill so water runs and goes out to the sanitary sewer. Other things like here we got way more at the upper left one, there's a lot of rust and scaling. I can't tell if that's a root sticking out over there, but something that obviously is sticking out there. If you think about we're flushing things down the toilet, we're running water. Water's got to easily get through from wherever it is, from the toilet or whatever, out to the sanitary sewer. That's not easy with the water travel. And anything that's in the water is going to get cold and it's going to build up. This one over here, that's what roots look like. When I first started doing this, I had a vision in my head the roots that we see on the ground around trees. That's what we're going to see inside a sewer pipe. And it's actually like very fibrous stuff. Small not sponges. Sponge would be good one. Straws, because the tree or whatever is trying to suck the nutrients out of that water. Plants like this water a lot, so that's what those roots are doing, just trying to get the nutrients and stuff for them out of the water. The next slide, I wish I had taken this picture. I did not take this picture. At the bottom right. Now, I've seen sewer lines that are big enough to have that kind of thing happen to them, but that's a rat, by the way. So yeah, I mean a rat or a mouse or something like that get into it. But definitely have seen the left one for sure. And if you think about it, it's amazing that if we go in and do our inspections and we run water, typically the sewer cameras are done at the end, and we didn't get anything backing up for the whole time we were there running all this water. Then you run the sewer line down to this point, it's like, how is that water not backing back up into the house? So when we do find stuff like this, there's lots of ways to fix it. Cabling is one, which they actually go down there and they have this device that it's a cutter that cuts through the roots and it lets the roots go down in the sanitary sewer. Hydrojetting is another one where they use very high pressure water out of very tight nozzles that create a cutting surface with the water. Those work really well with the clay tile, which is what this one is, because the water is not strong enough to break apart the tile, whereas the cutters are metal, literally metal blades that spin inside there and they can break apart the clay tile. So if that can't be done, then the other extreme is replacement. The one on the left there is a complete replacement where they dug the, had to bring the whole new line back out to the house, or from the house back up to the street. The pipe sticking up there by the house, which is an exterior clean out, is required by code today. It was not required by code until I want to say like 1988 was when they first came in, but you have to have a at-grade level clean out on the outside of houses. So anytime somebody comes in and the sewer line's fine, and they say, well, but you need a clean out. But you don't need a clean out unless they have to do repair work to it. So, but a lot of the guys that do that kind of work require it.
So this is actually a question that I had from a buyer about our inspection because we had to auger the sewer line to get the roots out,
Mhm.
and they were asking if there's like any like long-term solution to keep the roots from growing back in. And my response was like the solution that you can dump down, but
Yeah, there's
realistically, would you just have to replace the pipe?
I'm trying to remember the name of the product. There is a product you can dump down. There's a couple of them, but there's one that they
The sulfur.
yeah. Basically, it kills the roots in the pipe. You can dump it down every so often. It's supposed to retard. It will not stop it because the trees and stuff will still grow, but it will really slow it down. Brand of
Is switching a clay tile out for PVC the only way to like permanently prevent roots?
yeah, clay tile is made up of 2 to 2.5 foot pieces of pipe that marry like this. So in the old day, what they would do is they would the receiver they would put a bunch of asphalt material in and then shove it in and kind of glued it together. But the ground, ground's moving all the time, and over time it causes this. Well, you only need a small. You see how small those roots are, those fibers. It doesn't need to be a very big opening for them to get in. So the only way to make sure that you don't get roots in there is to replace it with a solid PVC. All those joints they're all glued together. So the pipe can't come apart. There is a. This one here is actually a partial replacement. Where they had a problem for whatever reason. They dug down right there. These are water lines. Nice. Nice. I wish there wasn't two of them there, but that's what those were. So they didn't break those open. But then they made a repair. But it looks like they're putting a clean out in too. So that's what that is. That's going to have a pipe coming up out of it to grade, which they're supposed to do when they make a repair. One other thing they can do sometimes is to line up the sewer line. It's a company called New Flow. Basically, this blue pipe right here is a really thin. It's hard to describe what it looks like when they shove it down there. And then as they shove it down there, they blow it up. And yeah, it's kind of like an angioplasty for your heart that they're doing to a sewer line. New Flow has told us that they can only do that like 50% of the time because the other 50% of the time, like if you do a pipe that's this one here would probably be difficult. So this right here is that's the outside, that's the width of the pipe, right? That's the outside. And if it's got too many offsets, then the new pipe can't form inside there. So it can only be done about 50% of the time. But if it can be done, it's like 50% of the cost because they're not digging the ground. But it's cool to watch when it can be done. So we get some other questions like, can we run our sewer cameras down every line? No. Sometimes we don't have an accessible cleanout or have too many bends. So our cameras are mounted to a fiberglass rod, but that has a fiber optic cable in the center of it. And that fiberglass rod is almost a half an inch thick. So when it's going through and snaking around, if you get too many 90-degree bends, at some point there'll be so much friction on that fiberglass rod trying to push it through that we can only go so far, and then you just can't push it any farther. So we get that. Sometimes we get the old cast iron pipes that have brass plugs in the end. Most companies will just say they can't do it. We'll break out the brass caps and then we actually put in a rubber plug and we're done with it. Because my guys want to get paid, so if they're there to do that, they want to get it without any problem breaking out the stuff. So, but there are some times where we physically can't run the sewer camera down there. So like this one here in the upper left, you go a bend and then a bend, and then that's going to go along and then bend again and go on the side of the wall. That's going to be difficult. We can't do septic systems. Typically, with a septic system that runs out of the house to a tank that's only 8 to 10 feet away from the house, and then we can't get through the tank to get to the field. Lift stations where you've got a house that sits lower than the street, and all the sewer pumps out into a giant sump pump essentially, and then it gets lifted up into the sanitary sewer. We can't do those either. We watch and remove toilets to get into access as long as it's feasible to do. Both of these are sealed to the floor, so we're not gonna take off the caulk and try to put it on. The one on the right, that thing's ancient. I'd be terrified to try to take it off. But when the floor looks old, the caulking looks old, the toilet itself, that base, they don't make toilets like that anymore. So that would be terrifying.
But that would pass.
Oh, we would have put down the toilet that had the caulk. The one on the upper left, they do that a lot today. Even though you're not supposed to put caulking in the base of the toilet, but they still do it to kind of make it look better.
So how do you keep it?
Oh, so that little cap right there, that has a bolt underneath it. There's one on the other side. There's two bolts that come out of the flange in the floor, and then you screw it down and that holds it in place. And then that's also what marries straight in from where that bolt head is where the pipe is, the flange. And they either heard of a wax seal. Wax seal is an inch and a half of wax that braided they put in there, and when you put the toilet down, it just smashes to it, and the wax keeps the toilet and the flange together so that it doesn't leak. I don't know why they put so much caulk on those things. That's just crazy. I really wish I'd like it could do like the Matrix. Maybe the Matrix, you just plug in and just touch everything you need to know. That'd be awesome. The cost of repairs on sewer lines can be very significant, tens of thousands of dollars typically. And not all inspection companies offer the service. Some, like us, we have our own camera, but people do it. Other companies will hire it out to like a sewer camera company. There's two that I know of. There's a woman, Tammy the sewer gal. She'll do not the most professional outfit. And then there's another one, I forget the name of it, but that's all they do is sewer camera stuff, and then they're a lot more professional. So some companies do it, some companies don't. You just need to find what you're comfortable with when you're trying to promote that to your clients. Anywhere from 2 to 275 is going to be the additional cost for that on inspections. And with ours is a separate report. We upload the video to YouTube, private YouTube, and then we give the link in the report so that how that one can see it, so that you can see the video. Any questions about that? Radon. Radioactive gas comes from the breakdown of mercury in the soil. It's everywhere. It's in this room right now. Even more downstairs, outside. It's everywhere. It does really exist if you open up a periodic chart in your chemistry book. All the way to the right, all the way to the bottom. That's where you're going to find the element radon. And it in its pure element form is not harmful to us. But when radon breaks down, it gives off radioactive particles, and that's what's harmful to us. Radon has a half-life of 3.7 days. So every 3.7 days it breaks down and gives off this particle. And what we measure is how many of those particles there can be in a certain amount of volume. Well, way more technical than I think I wanted to get to, but that's what it does. It moves through the soil because it's under pressure and the soil is trying to get to the air in equilibrium. Entry points in houses, it gets in cracks in foundations, cracks in slabs, sump pump pits, basement floor wall joints, floor drains, basically anything you can find. Radon is a very, very, very tiny particle, like 10 to the minus 19 is the size. It's really, really, really small. The biggest culprits on this list up here is going to be the sump pump pit. Because the sump pump pit is a 2.5 foot opening through the floor of the basement, and then it goes down usually 2 feet or so. So that's the biggest culprit. The next one would be your basement floor wall joint. So your basement wall comes down, and where the floor meets up, there's a joint there that's never sealed tight. The radon can get in really easily. The EPA says that all homes in the U.S. should be tested. Doesn't matter how old or how new. Updates say all of them. If you look at the EPA's website as to where radon concentrations are in the United States, there's basically like a Nike swoosh from Pennsylvania all the way through to Iowa. And it literally has that shape of a Nike swoosh. We're dead center in the middle of it. In here, you go to Bloomington. I have inspector buddies down in Bloomington that don't even offer radon testing because it's not a thing down there. Same in Evansville. There's no radon in Evansville. You get north up by Lafayette, Fort Wayne, by Michigan, they just don't have the radon problems that we have here just because our concentration level seems to be so much higher here. I've never really looked into why that is. I just know that's the way it is. A couple of myths out there. New homes are less susceptible to radon. That's not true. If you think about what we're doing with our new houses today, we're wrapping them in Tyvek, we're putting in much more efficient windows. We're not allowing a lot of air changes per hour to happen. So any radon or any pollutant that gets into the homes these days does not have a way to easily get back out. So a new home actually probably has a higher chance of radon than an older home. And just because you have a basement doesn't mean you're going to have radon. The highest level that my company has ever recorded was a slab house out on the far east side. The action level was 4 picocuries per liter, and we tested that house at like 112 or 120, something like that. It was really high. High for us, for you guys, and even before it's going to be considered high. So 6, 8, 10, 12 tends to be a high number. 15, but that 112, we tested like 4 times just to make sure our equipment was not screwing up, and it was really, really high. But it was a slab house. So don't tell your people that because you have a slab, you don't have to worry about it. So we have to test the lowest livable space. So if you have a house that has an unfinished basement, that unfinished basement is considered livable space. We're going to test it. Some broader bungalows, the rooms that they have down there don't meet the minimum height requirement by code for livable space, but yet there's a couch and a 15-inch TV and a PlayStation. When we were down there, they're obviously using it as livable space. We're going to test that. Excuse me. Dirt floor cellars, crawl spaces. We're not testing those. People don't live in those, so we're not going to test those. And I already said level 4 picocuries per liter. Mitigation cost typically are closer to that 1,200 figure today. I don't think you can get one installed for $800. That's going to be the $1,200 to $1,500 figure. This is what the radon systems look like. This one here had 2 crawl spaces, so instead of putting one big system and trying to suck air from both crawl spaces, we put 2 systems in. These fans, that's what this is here, is the exhaust fan. Those are required to be outside of the living space. So they can be in the garage, they can be in the attic space, they can be outside. They cannot be inside. Cannot be in an unfinished basement. So the picture on the right, a lot of things going on with that one. There's the fan right next to the water heater, which is not supposed to be there. The discharge pipe, if you follow that, is just discharging it right into the basement. So it's sucking it out of the basement floor from underneath and then throwing it back into the basement. This little guy right here, this is called a YouTube manometer. All that does is tell you that there's air movement in that pipe. It does not tell you if it's actually moving the radon levels in the house. But if that YouTube manometer, the liquid levels are at the same level, the fan's not running. So as the fan rushes by that little opening, it's got a pipe that goes inside, so it's the air inside is trying to suck the liquid out of it, so that's what creates the difference. So if it's 0, that's bad. If it's really high apart, that means there's a lot of suction and maybe not a lot of air movement. So we look for both those. Then go figure we tested that and it was high.
Would you recommend testing even if there is a mitigation?
We don't know how well it was put in, how well it works. And I'll tell you that when we do mitigation systems already installed, our failure rate's only like 30%, 25, 30%. That means 75% of homes that have it, they're working. But there's still that 25 to 30% chance that it's not. Yeah, we recommend that. I mean, for $150 Any other questions about radon? I mean, there's a lot to learn about radon. It's been weeks on that, but for what we're doing, that's what you guys need to know. Last subject I got for you, termites. If you've never seen a termite, those two pictures on the right are what they look like. I will tell you that in an average year that we do 4,000 or 5,000 home inspections in a year, we're going to see termites 3 or 4 times. All the houses that we look at. They like to live in the ground. They don't like to be seen. They don't like to be exposed to air. So we saw the bait station on another slide. So they've got a 12-inch pipe that goes into the ground. You can see where the circles are, where they placed them on the outside of the house. Inside that spike, they call it bait. It's literally a piece of pine, because that's what termites eat. If they hit on it, they take the pine out and put a cellulose stick in with a very specific poison. The poison prevents exoskeletons from forming, and that's how termites grow. So they molt out of one exoskeleton to another, and it prevents they literally fall apart and die. And they try to grow. So it eradicates the colony instead of putting a chemical barrier around the house. This is what they look like. They're not very large. They're really small, actually. We normally see this. This is what they leave behind on the outside of wood is a termite shelter tube. Termites require a certain amount of moisture around them all the time and a certain temperature. So at this time of the year, they usually go about 8 feet in the ground, and we don't see them in the wintertime. Usually around March or April, they'll start coming back out of the ground. Because they have to have a certain amount of heat. So they create these tubes on the outside to protect them from moisture and coldness. This guy here, this made me laugh. That was a daycare. And all these things hanging down are shelter tubes that the termites created. And they ate out the center beam of this structure. And what they did is they came back and they added two light bulbs, one on each side of the eaten out beam, but never treated for termites. So they just gave them more food. But that's a major. These piles here, those are shelter tubes that have fallen off. Huge. Worst infestation. That is a giant shelter tube coming up the foundation wall. Huge. I've never seen anything like it.
Does the wood need to be like in contact with the ground, or will they just kind of like climb up on like
They
the
will climb,
concrete?
yeah, they'll tube around stuff, tube up the foundation wall to get to the wood. Which is what they're doing, back here. That's another shelter tube there. These are major highways from the ground up the foundation. That's styrofoam. They can't eat styrofoam. They got into the wood and started eating that. So fortunately, it takes a long time for them to do major damage to a structure. If you do any reading about termites, they're actually fascinating insect, but a good sized colony or an average sized colony of termites can eat a 2-foot section of a 2x4 every 30 days, which is like, oh my gosh, right? But they also know that their food sources are going to get cut off all the time, so they're not eating all that wood out of your house or your house. They're nomadic, they're everywhere. So cumulatively, they can eat a 2-foot section of a 2x4 every 30 days. But if they're in your house, I mean, it takes years for them to do enough damage to have to replace wood. Normally we just see this stuff here. There's been some light damage, maybe sister on a wood piece, but it's not rebuilding. It's not major stuff, but it's still expensive to fix.
As like it sounds when you find active termites, because you can just treat for them most of the time.
Yeah, treating meat. So it takes such a long time for them to do serious damage to a structure. A lot of people will get pest control companies come out and do like your spider treatments and just kind of nuisance gates and stuff like that. And those guys look for signs of termites because they want to treat. So that to me is an easy way to keep the ants and spiders out of your house and protect your house from termites.
About bees. I've seen videos of bees in the walls of houses.
So
Gigantic hives.
carpenter bees are one that we have to call out by our termite license because they actually damage the wood. Honeybees or yellow jackets, they also create stuff in walls. unless we can see them. I have been in the house where you start putting two and two together and you find out there's a honeybee nest and you see them on the front porch. So yeah, being allergic to ground wasp or something, I usually pay attention to that. That's my spiel. So more about Cornerstone, we do have a website. You guys or your clients can order inspections 24/7. We got 2.5 people in the office all the time. Jenny's sometimes in the office and sometimes out doing this type of stuff or marketing and stuff like that. So you guys look at this office, so we cover everywhere you go. But we cover everywhere from Tipton to Franklin, Coatesville to Greenfield on a regular basis. Some agents will have the one-offs. Like Megan Porterfield has asked us to go like Princess Lakes, which is down by Columbus. You know, if we get a good relationship going, we will extend our reach a little bit.
Do you have referrals, you know, for people in Bartholomew County? That's what I grew up, so. Building down
That's Columbus, right?
Columbus, mm-hmm. Columbus.
I actually looked at extending Cornerstone down there and the annual sales just weren't there to justify having an office there. So
Oh, 40, 50,000 people.
yeah. But I think between Columbus and this is the next closest city. Bloomington's not too far away.
Bloomington's out west, then down south is Seymour is the next one down, that's Jackson. And then
I think between Bloomington and Columbus,
Franklin's up.
I had a hard time justifying the expense of putting somebody down there to we decided not to do that. Because Columbus and Seymour, I think collectively, I remember the sales were like 10,000 sales a year. And then if you go through the logical of what I needed, how many of those did I need?
Mostly farmland.
My son played like hockey in Columbus, so
Oh,
I spent a lot of time. Anyways, you have our notepad. Does notepad have the number on it? Does not, does
No.
it? Bring business cards?
I think
They're in the
here.
candy bag.
All right. Just doing your job.
And it's got the QR code. Right.
Any questions you guys ever have about inspections? My card